Welcome back to Cove Street Boatworks. I have a question for you. Back in episode 8, I went up and did a survey on a 1922 launch with a St. Lawrence Model T marine engine conversion in it. It was up on Lake Bombazine. And we went and took a look at it. One of the interesting things about this boat was that it had very little repair work. So it was, even though it was in rough shape and needed full restoration, it was completely original and authentic. I mean, there was every detail still there to be witnessed. There were no sister frames in the hull. It had been used and cared for carefully and never had any really horrible restorations. And this is usually one of the things that ruins even historically interesting boats for me, is when people get a hold of it and they just destroy it by doing bad restorations, adding veneers across decks, the kinds of things that can't be easily undone. This boat had nothing. It was, you know, completely in its original state. It would be a great boat to be able to go through and document, because it was a good example of how this boat was originally built. Nothing fancy about the boat. 26 foot, steam bent frames, no longitudinal stringers, so it was early as far as a power boat goes. 20 horsepower Model T in it. But it was very, very elegant in terms of its originality. It's like a big station wagon. So the family was looking to sell this. They were going to send it out to the Thousand Islands auction. It's late this summer. But I spoke that I might have some interest in bringing it into the shop and doing the restoration for this channel. I thought that the viewers might be interested in seeing this from beginning to end. And the family came back and they said, hey, we have an annual reunion later in the summer. It would be really cool to come up and pick the boat up, you know, during the reunion, and to be able to interview a lot of the elder members of the family that had a lot of history and remembrances about the boat, to capture that in a documentary kind of fashion. You know, witness taking the boat across the lake, getting it on the trailer, you know, saying goodbye to everybody, and then chronicling the work that's going to be done here. We're going to go through and send the engine out. That's going to be a $5,000 job by itself, have that Model T rebuilt and completely redo the hull, and then put it all back together, put it in the water, and then maybe bring it back for the next annual family reunion and capture the you know, the reintroduction of the fixed hull, and let them go out and use it and enjoy it. So I thought that might be a really interesting story to tell. They've already been gathering up a lot of photographic, artifacts over the years from very, very early on that show, you know, the boat and various ownerships across the 3 or 4 generations of the family. It started out in Lake Champlain, it ended up in Bombazine, and it's been pretty much in that single family possession for its entire life. So it's got a real interesting story. The boat itself is extraordinary only in that it has its full history traceability. It's not fancy. It wasn't a real expensive boat. It was an honest boat for doing honest things on a lake, and that was transporting goods and people and doing it in a safe and fairly speedy fashion. So would you be interested in seeing this? I've had a lot of challenges getting my viewers to leave comments. Early on, it seemed like I did better than I have lately, but I'd like to hear your feedback on this. I'd like to know if you're interested in me doing a documentary and capturing it from collection of the boat, you know, and moving it across the lake all the way through its restoration and then reintroducing it to this family. Is that an interesting thing for you to follow? Leave me your comments and feedback. Let me know what aspects of this interest you the most, if anything. It's going to require a little bit of resource on my end. It's not a boat that you can make a lot of money on. I'm not doing it to flip, because honestly, the wooden boat market, especially for pre-World War II launches like that, it's soft right now. There's not a lot of interest in it. It's always cyclic. It'll come back eventually, but right now people are more interested in 50s and 60s kinds of speedboats than they are in those slow speed displacement launches from pre-World War II. So it's something we would invest in only because you thought it was a great story, and we would maybe bring it around to some boat shows, you know, and let people see it in you know, support of those that watched its evolution and its rebirth. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Thank you. Looking forward to reading your comments.